All right, shalom to the elect, giving all praise and honor, glory to Yahweh by Shemel Shai, Bishop Haggadah, and double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who peace and salutation to the elect. Shemel Mouth is a mop from the Great Millstone Plaintables camp, coming with this breaking news. You have it here, Jason A. Post. I have various news sources, Fox News. I have Zero Hedge. I have probably ABC News, Associated Press, on what just happened, which these things were told and spoken aforetime through Yahweh by Shemel Shai, speaking through his mouth, which are the prophets, and we're seeing the reality, of the things that have been told. Us even at camp, we were speaking on things in the spirit, how these Edomites and such, with bringing forth and waging war in the earth. So we're just gonna go right here with this information. Fair use warning. This is for educational purposes only. It's not for any monetary use at all. This is strictly journalism. So we can just go right here.
This is a Fox News alert. News from the President of the United States that there has been an attack inside Iran. Just moments ago, President Donald Trump putting out on Truth Social, we have completed our very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. Again, this from President Donald Trump. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo. All planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Again, that's just seconds ago from President Donald Trump on Truth Social.
And we can just play it right here from the horse's mouth.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, was...
Now they're a bully of the Middle East, but someone just dropped a payload of bombs and said they were in peace talks with this nation, and was pretty much brought out as we do know by the state of the state of which we know the leader, as it's going to be mentioned, you have it here in a particular newspaper in 1984. It said Iran is in the final stages of making a nuclear bomb. And that's what was basically written in this newspaper. In that state. But you have it. Where's the bomb? Okay, you have it here, 2002, with this particular individual, B N, okay, Prime Minister of that state of I. You have it September 12. You know, saying, hey, you know, we days away. Their days away. Pardon me, of having a nuclear weapon, and then they have it that in 2025. You know, June 13, 2025. You know, hopeful year of our deliverance and the judgment, destruction of Esau, Edom. And we have it, they, you know, are stating that they, you know, we're days away from a nuclear weapon. And, you know, we've been speaking this, Donald Trump only continuing forth out of pulling out of the agreements and breaking agreements. Which is a joint comprehensive plan of action, right? And that's what that agreement, that was back in 2015, right? Between Iran and several world powers, right? Basically to ensure, as they would say, that Iran's nuclear program would be exclusively peaceful, you know, keeping or limiting their uranium enrichment and such. You have it under that 3.67, that is, right? Which Iran agreed to enrich only up to that and not build heavy water facilities, you know. But you had it that this agreement was null and void. You have it that back in July of 2019, Iran announced that it had reached the limit and set on its stockpile of low enriched uranium, right? You had, remember, well, even before that, you had in 2018, Trump announced a U.S. withdrawal from that. So, U.S. withdrawing from these treaties, and then the EU blocking statutes, right, to defeat U.S. sanctions on countries trading with Iran. And then U.S. sanctions came back into effect, intending to force Iran to alter its policies, includes its support, which they're going to say, for a different proxy group. We already know. So, you know, you have it, you know, Iran allegedly, you know, has been on this trajectory to, you know, build nuclear capability. And, you know, as you have it, Iran declared it will no longer abide by the deal limitations, but would coordinate with the AIEA. All right. But you have it where full-blown war has been waged, okay, through the pushing out or provocation, which you had the state of I, you know, do attack over there and against different leadership with Iran, and then them strike back at them. But now all of a sudden we have the big boogeyman of the Middle East, and they posing that as Iran all of a sudden, despite the fact, having different deals and such, right? And so allegedly they can make peace with them. And they still talking about making peace, but then they're doing it by the way of war, okay? Because this stuff was already spoken. Remember, this man boasts of his heart's desires. So, I had on Zero Hedge an article which pretty much already stated, things, okay? Remember, this man already said that he decided on attacking them within the next 2 weeks, but, he did it. He already started it. So, that's just that. And you have it. As it says, Netanyahu has said the U.S. been helping a lot. Donald Trump suggests to the defense officials it would make sense for the U.S. to strike against Iran only if the so-called bunker buster bomb would guarantee to destroy the critical uranium enrichment facility at Fordow, according to people familiar with the deliberations, right? And then you have it, what had happened.
Now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani.
Let's bring a repeat on that. This is back in, but remember that kicked off that year. Where remember they're gonna say that proxy, the Iranian National Guard, which that strike was carried out. Have it here. He was like pretty much the equivalent to like your second command, if I'm not mistaken. Right? He was an Iranian military officer who served for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? And remember, he was assassinated January the 3rd, 2020. Okay? So they pretty much are claiming these people as complete T's. All right? Complete T's. All right? And they did that at an airport, that destruction to that particular general. All right? So, and you had it that they've been having, talks. Hey, Donald Trump said that he knows where their supreme leader Iran is and such, and there's has been talks about a certain plot against him too. So all we keep hearing is plots against these people, but at the same time they keep talking about bringing peace to the Middle East.
I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin Kane.
Yeah, that's not a coincidence. You know, Dan Kane, which I should have his name in this article. Yeah, it's in this article. Moscow warns about catastrophic U.S. involvement. Trump says Goddard wrong about Iran nukes. All right. You have it here. Remember, this particularly, so you can't trust none of these particular Edomites, right? However, the report lays out that Trump is considering using a tactical nuclear weapon on Fordo, and the possibility was not presented by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff General Dan Kane in meetings in the White House Situation Room. Two people familiar with the matter said it was still in the speculation phase, but you know, you look what's going on. They still did a bombing. I'm not sure if it was carried out this way, but you know, apparently Trump can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon, which that's just what you know, the fear of the state of Israel had, which, and of course prophecy, which we in spirit of prophecy always here at Great Millstone. And the prophets, starting with apostles and others of Great Millstone, have always warned. This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and 20. Therefore hear the counsel of your Lord Yahweh that he had taken against Edom and his purposes. Alright, which we know who Edom is. Alright. Both of those leaders, okay, are of Edom. Both Trump and BN. It says that he had proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock being that state of I, drawing the U.S. military. Okay. So, you know, World War III definitely is on deck. All right, because you can definitely be assured of, you know, as it is also said here, domestic threats. Alpha ABC News could wake in wake of Iran attack.
Here, Thomas, our Chief Justice correspondent, back stateside, covering the domestic threat. Of course, people watching us here on a Saturday night here want to know what is Iran's capability, not only to react overseas throughout the region with thousands of U.S. military stationed across the region, but also here in the U.S. We know that there are lone wolves.
Remember, it tells that this place, keep it not at home. Okay, Habakkuk, the second chapter, it says, Habakkuk chapter 2 and 4, it says, behold, his soul, which is Esau, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. We got the greatest military ever. Only us, we can do it, you know, and carry it out. But the just shall live by his faith. And that's what the elect is going to live by faith. In these days, they will have to live by faith and have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to keep them stable, because these times are going to be straight hectic. Remember, they talking about straight peace, but remember what is the scriptures say when they say, I'll say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as a woman that travaileth the child, roughly paraphrasing. So, we got to stay, of course, diligent and in the mindset of the second return of Yahweh Shai, the deliverance of the elect of Israel, the destruction to, of course, the system that we do see that the Lord's going to bring down via as prophetic events in which he spoke. He says, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, the Edomites, right? Okay, neither keepeth at home, and having all these different military troops stationed abroad, okay, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right. So again, going into this,
wolves, there are actors that certainly Iran would want to react in some sort of way to the U.S. action we witnessed tonight. What are U.S. authorities here in the homeland prepared for potentially, and what have they said?
Well, David, one of the things they're most concerned about in the immediate future would be the potential for cyber attacks. Iran and its proxies have shown some capabilities to project from thousands of miles away. That's an immediate threat. DHS actually put out a notice just a couple of weeks ago after Israel started to attack Iran, warning the U.S. infrastructure, that's the electrical grid, energy sector, financial sector, to double check their computer systems to make sure that they have the proper defense mechanism. So that's a concern. There's obviously always been concern about the ability of Iran, to project.
Yeah, because this is nothing but another thing going back to what we know, war being rage, right? Remember with you have it Saddam Hussein with Iraq having allegedly weapons of mass destruction, and then there was none found, but all that destruction and invasion occurred, okay, deemed as tease, okay, history just repeating itself.
Inside the United States, do they have operatives here? The U.S. government has made a number of cases involving Iranian operatives in the United States attempting to impact dissidents here, that sort of thing. Also, there would be concern about just a general reaction to the notion of the U.S. government, the U.S. military, taking a military strike to the homeland of Iran. So officials here will be looking at that kind of thing as well, David.
Pierre.
So pretty much, as we do know, I'll read Job 18th chapter, around the 15th verse, or the 15th verse. What was that? Or 18 and 11, pardon me. It says here, terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. Okay, and you have these different events that's going to be occurring, all right, which we don't know who it's going to be particularly, but we do know of SC, all right, SC, all right, being abroad and just being in here domestically, and they could just be given the green light to make things go on. All right, and that could affect the nations. Before you know it, there's all different draconian measures that being made, mandatory, okay, and stuff is shut down, okay, because of the terror, of course, threats, that could be, from this happening. So, he already is boasting of his heart's desire. But we know Esau is not gonna accomplish his NWO because the Lord's gonna bring it down. All right. So this is the breaking news through the Spirit, man. And just stay, of course, diligent and beware and pray to the Lord, that He be with you and protect you in these times. For those that are of the hopeful elect, shalom to you, like.